So my name is Anete, if someone doesn't know it yet. And if this is your first class with me, I'm really glad that you chose this class. If you're a beginner, I am sure this class will be useful for you. I've gathered the information that I think is really important for beginners to know, to understand, and to practice. So so this is the acrobatics basic class, and ultimately this class will lead to a handstand. Not like you will be able to do handstand after one class. You will need to put in a lot of work to make that happen, of course, but I will try to break it down how to achieve it, where to start, and what are the right exercises for me that work for me and work for some of my students as well. So to make it clear that today's I wrote everything down and not to get carried away. So we will go through body awareness, which will be our warm up, where we will warm up our body, try to be aware of our positions, warm up our joints and understand where and what is going on. And the second thing, the second block, what we will work on is the strength and balance block, where we will go through a balance position. We will start with the easiest balance positions that will lead to a harder balance positions. And before you start to do handstand, I ultimately suggest you to do these balance positions, what I will provide, which I will provide today, because before you start to do a handstand, you need to be able to hold your own weight in your hands, and that is difficult. To do that, you need to build up the upper body strength that it's needed. You need to strengthen your core, and ultimately you need to be able to control what you're doing when you're upside down. And balance positions, easy ones, harder ones, doesn't matter, all of them helps you to do that. So yes, and the third block will be the handstand block. I will show you exercises, what you can work with, what you can already try, and through them you will understand when to go further or not go further. Stay on that exercise before you do the next exercise to build up your upper body strength, your awareness, and your balance. So, okay, enough talking. I will correct my camera and we will start. If you wish, you can turn on your music if you like. And if no, you can do it in silence, like I am doing it now. And all you will need today is a wall or a pole. Uh, most of our positions today will be without a pole, but some of them I will show you with the pole, if you have one, how to do it with a pole. And the wall can help you as well. If you don't have a wall, I'm really sorry for that. Or you can use a pole as well. I will use a pole today because my walls are in mirrors and I don't want to ruin the mirrors. So we will start a position on our foot. Place your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. This is a really important position because you need to understand, are your palms underneath your shoulders? Are they shoulder wide? Are your knees underneath your hips and are they hip wide? So details do matter, and that's why today we will pay a great attention to details. First of all, we take this position on our foot and we exhale and we round our backs and we stretch our spine. We can shift weight forward and back just to feel the nice good stretch. And breathe deeply. Great. Inhale. Now pull your shoulder blades together and your shoulders away from your ears. And you should feel that your chest is opening up and your tummy is stretching as well. And we will shift weight backward, forth, and back. And we keep breathing. Great. Let's tuck in and let's try to move the spine bone by bone. Before we round the upper back, Shift weight forward. Start again with the lumbar spine. Tailbone, bone by bone. Inhale. And round your back slowly, bone by bone. Exhale. Inhale. Great. Now let's circle. And switch. Try to feel your upper body. Is everything stretching and moving? Switch again. And switch again. Great. Now adjust the shoulders. Big circles. And switch. Try to keep your lumbar spine neutral. So you do not overtuck and you do not arch in your lower back. Great. Up or down, scapula. Keep breathing. Great. Now I will turn to you so you see what I'm doing here. Now the same position on our four. Place your hands shoulder wide. Your legs are hip wide. Your spine is neutral. So neutral position is a super important position. To understand the neutral position, you have to arch, bend. This is an extreme position. You do not arch your lower back in neutral position. And when you overtuck, you do not overtuck in your neutral position. Neutral position is something in the middle, but engaged. So when you release your tummy, you kind of fall in because your shoulders release as well. It's hard to release your tummy and stay engaged in your shoulders. So when you engage your shoulders and you release your tummy, you feel that your shoulders are not correctly engaged as well. So this is a whole body work on our four. So you need to neutral position and slightly engaged shoulders to understand this position. You have to balance in this position. And remember, everything which you have on the floor, in this case, it's your palms and your knees, everything is pushing away from the floor. Everything is your balance point. So to be aware which hand carries the most weight, you have to carry them equally. The same happens with knees. You have to place your weight on your both knees equally. If you keep your feet active, they are starting to push as well. And when you engage a slight pushing from your knees, you understand that it's a lot easier to hold in your shoulders. When you stop pushing from your knees, all the weight goes to your shoulder and your hands will get tired more quickly. So you're pushing from all the balance points you have here, okay? Okay, from here, you take your position on your foot. Try to be aware of your balance points, of the weight. It's controlled. And in this position, we rotate our biceps in. Elbows go out through a circle movement. We're starting to do a shoulder decompression exercise that will help you warm up and release the tension. Try to feel the rotation in your shoulder joints when you're doing this. And switch. Now your biceps are rotating out. Out means when they look to the front, not in, but out like this. Keep your elbows close through a circular movement. Sorry, you push them out. And again, the same. Elbows close, out. Keep breathing. Try to feel the work in your shoulders. Great. Let's inhale. Exhale. Look up. And here again, weight on your both knees is equal. The hand that is on the floor, it's pushing you away, and you're trying to create a greater twist while you're pushing and looking up. Place it underneath your shoulder. Inhale and exhale. Keep the weight on your both knees equally. Great. Coming up. Nice, 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 nice. Now from here, we will move to a plank position. So why did I start with the position on all four? That is the basic position. It's super important pose. So you cannot do handstand if you do not understand this position on your foot. Now let's remind again. When you're placing your hands underneath your shoulders, your biceps has to rotate slightly out. That is the only way to engage your shoulders correctly. If your biceps are rotating in, you see what I'm doing from the side. I'm falling into my shoulders, which means now my trapezius muscle is overworked to carry this position, and I'm kind of unaware that I'm creating a slight arch in my lower back because I'm not creating a push. And even when I start to push from my knees to keep this position right and my shoulders are in, a lot of tension on your wrists. If you did this wrong position, you will feel that you have a lot of tension on your wrists. And in your handstands, in your balance poses, wrists are super important. Now that we move to our wrists, you have to be able to open your fingers wide. I'm sure all of you can do this. So that is the main thing which you have to learn to do, and remind yourself. Fingers wide open. This is your balance. If you're closing in, this space is so much smaller now. And when this space is so small and you want to push all of your body from this little palm, when you open up, it's much bigger. Okay, so open fingers is really important. Next, really super important tip is that you have to push away from your fingers as well. To engage your fingers, you have to imagine that you're keeping your hands into the sand, for example, and you're trying to pull the sand underneath your fingers while still feeling that your finger pillows are touching the floor. So you're not lifting up and creating this little bridge and space between the floor and your hand. You're pushing the finger pillows into the floor and engaging your fingers. And now let's do this kind of exercise before we go to our plank position. So let's place the feet hip wide, knees under hips, palms underneath your shoulders, biceps is rotating out, engaging your shoulders, neutral engagement in your pelvis. Now, open fingers wide, start to push like you pushed from your knees. You're pushing the same from your fingers. So you're creating a push from your fingers. And now you try to hold that push away from your fingers and shift your weight forward and back. Your fingers are super engaged. Now, if you're doing this correctly, you should feel that your wrist doesn't hurt. Your wrist doesn't take all the load. There is no pressure in your wrists. Your fingers are working to protect your wrists. Your shoulders are working to protect your elbows if you're hyperflexed, as well as your shoulders are working to protect your wrists again. So when your shoulders are working and everything here is fine, and you feel that your fingers are engaging and you're pulling the sand underneath your fingers, working correctly, you should feel that your elbow here, these muscles are starting to work. okay? When you're working with your palm, here everything is working. We need this part, forearm, to be working as well. So if you do not engage your fingers, this part of your arm doesn't work as well. So imagine if you're not working with your fingers and this part of your hand is not engaged, all the load that you will do on your balance positions in your handstands will go to your joint, which is your wrist joint, which is your elbow joint. Okay? So that means it will be much more harder for you to hold this hand straight. Next thing, if you're not engaging your shoulders properly, you will end up in injuries. If you will practice your handstands regularly, you will not feel the engagement. You will not feel how you can control your body. You will not feel aware, and you will not develop strength. You will just place your body in awkward positions over and over again, and you will not progress in that position. So you need to start to feel that engagement. I'm telling this from a point of view when you do not have any physical conditioning. Some of these things come naturally to some people, but those who haven't done anything before like this, as wasn't I, you need to start to feel, where do you start? So you start with your fingers, you start with your wrists, you start with engagement and feeling that position. All the points that are onto the floor starts pushing. So if you're pushing away from your knees here, that will help you control your pelvis a lot more. If you're pushing away from your shoulders, from your wrists, from your fingers, sorry, you will feel a lot more engagement in your shoulders, and this position starts to get very easy, and you don't feel pain in your wrist joints or in your elbows if you're hyperflex. Hyperflex people, this is super important for you. This is fundamental for you. If you're hyperflexed in your joints, this is the only way to protect them. Be correct in your positions, be aware of what you're doing, strengthen first, stretch after. Hyperflex people, strengthening is your number one thing which you need to do. To strengthen correctly, you need to be aware of your positions. Okay, so I know I'm talking fast. I really hope you are able to catch all these little important details because they do matter. I'm not lying, seriously. So now we open up our fingers wide. Our biceps are rotating out, engaging our shoulders, the shoulders slightly away from our ears to engage our scapula as well. So you're pulling it slightly together, slightly, do not over engage, okay? Neutral tuck, neutral pelvis, pushing away from the floor. And now we lift up one knee, just one knee. Lift it up and keep pushing. Push, push, lift up the knee. Lower it down, exhale. Keep pushing, engaging. Lift up the other knee. Now you feel all the weight, when you lift up your left knee, all the weight goes to your left hand, okay? That is super normal because you lift up one knee, but you still keep pushing from the other side, but still left hand is working very hard to keep your position stretched so you do not shift weight to the side. This is basics. And I know that some of this stuff is super boring, but to be aware actually is a wonderful thing when you start to feel how your body can work tremendously in a simple position. This seems a simple position, but it's not that simple when you start to understand each small, tiny part of your body. How does it work? How can I help with all the parts that I have here, okay? So from this position, only when you have completed this, you can move to your plank. If you cannot hold this position, you are not ready for your handstand because you are not ready for your plank. So if you're not ready to hold, if you feel like you cannot engage and hold and understand the lifting and the engaging this position, and you're still pushing away from your fingers, still your arms and shoulders are working, your pelvis is neutral, switching. If you're not able to control it, you need just a little bit work, more work needs to be put in to strengthen and make your body ready, okay? So now let's move to the plank. Engaging, fingers wide open, work with your fingers, your biceps is rotating out, slight engage in your scapula slightly, okay? If you're doing everything correctly in your fingers and in your shoulders, this will happen naturally, okay? So neutral tuck, and now from here we start to push, engage, and we extend one leg, hold, extend the other leg. This is your plank. Your legs are hip wide. And now from here, you can start to shift weight back and forth. Keep breathing. Push, engage, hold. Only now, if you're feeling this is super hard, how do people do this for 12 minutes? Because these people who does this for 12 minutes is either doing it wrong or either super developed, because plank position is correct only like this if you want to engage all your deep muscles. Only now, when you were holding this, if you hold this correctly, you will feel that it was very hard for me even. I'm sweating already doing just one plank for 10 seconds, okay? So because I was trying to engage everything, because all of your muscle groups are trying to work together in this one. And that is what we need in our handstands. Your muscular coordination, okay? So from a plank, now we are ready to move to a side plank. I'm not sure if you're ready, but I hope we are. I will go through all the positions and techniques of all the positions. And if you will do them right, you will warm up through them. Okay, if you will engage and understand and work with me, stay with me, you will warm up through this. Open up your fingers, biceps is rotating out, knees under hips, hip wide, push, engage, hold. Now you keep pushing, extend one leg, extend the other leg. You don't need to think about your glutes. They will chime in because if you did the position correctly. Now, your one leg is in the same line of your hand, and you just move to the side. Keep that pushing, keep that pressure, and this is your side plank. Push here. Great. Breathe, push. Understand the position. If it's too difficult, you can always go on your knees and start over. Now we're moving to the other side. Make sure your leg and your hand is in the same line. Moving to the other side. Keep pushing. Shoulder strong. Do not go into your shoulder. Fingers are engaged, super engaged, pushing and helping. Your side obliques are working, okay? And back. This is your side plank. So we will work through all of these three positions for plank, on our four, plank, one side plank, and the other side plank. And you will try to work really super aware, all right? Stay with me. On our four. So palms, fingers, bicepses. Push away from your knees and your pelvis will engage automatically. If you start to push from your knees, your pelvis will engage the way it needs to be engaged, okay? Hold this position, lift up one knee, hold, extend, lift, extend. Make sure your legs are in the hip wide position. Hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push, push, hold. Make sure your biceps is not falling in, not rotating in, and keep pushing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to the plank. Breathe. Move to the other side. Keep pushing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back on our 4. 2 more rounds and engage. Push. Now let's start with the other leg. Lift up. Keep pushing. Extend. The other one. Extend. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To the side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And back on our 4. Last round and engage. Push from your knees and extend. Hold. Push. Work with those fingers. Let's hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you want this harder, you just put one leg onto the other. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And switch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Now let's work a little bit with our wrists. And let's open up. And round. This should feel really great. Remember, working with your fingers is super crucial. You don't need super hard warm-ups all the time, okay? It's good to have different kind of warm-ups, and this time, to save some time, so I have more time to do through handstands, we will warm up with these kind of positions, with these kind of exercises, and we'll try to build up awareness through these exercises. You need to be aware. Where are your glutes? Where are your hips? What are your shoulders doing? Is your pelvis tucked, over tucked, or you're arching your lower back? Are you engaging enough? That is super important because when you're in your handstand, you need to be aware to control your position. Okay, now let's stretch. Keep breathing. And let's switch. Great. Now let's move on our finger pillows. The same thing applies here. You are on your position on your 4 and your knees are pushing away from the floor to help you to do this exercise. Knees are hip wide, fingers wide open. If it's too difficult and you feel like you're dropping down here on your wrist, you move one by one with control, no dropping. Great. Let's shake it out a little bit. Circle. No circle. Wait, sorry. Try to make this faster and faster and faster to get your wrists warm and ready. Open up, stretch to the front, up, front, and up. Great. Now let's take like this, stretch here. The other one. And shake it out. To the front, relax. Inhale. Now here, this will be a super important position as well. That's why I'm showing from the side. Now, when we always inhale, we do this because it feels, oh, what a great stretch, okay? But in our case today, when we will lift our hands up, we will keep our pelvis neutral. Tuck here so your back is straight and you're not arching, okay? So we connect our fingers. Our shoulders right now are away from our ears and our back is straight. Okay, let's try to keep this position and see how far our hands really go. Try to straighten your hands. They're not bent, straight. So you are ready for your handstand if you are creating a line. So if your wrists, shoulder, and hips are in the same line, you are ready to start practicing your handstands along with the strength, okay? This is just one thing that we usually look at the student when sometimes the line of the handstand looks inappropriate. It doesn't look correct, not inappropriate. Usually it's because the shoulders are not open enough, okay? Now let's stretch the shoulders, still keeping your back straight. Great. Now I will show you one super good shoulder opening position. It's the puppy pose. You can do it with blocks or without the blocks. It's up to you. With blocks, it will be a little bit deeper. So we put the blocks or no blocks, it doesn't matter. Shoulder wide position. Place your hands onto the blocks, or if you're onto the floor, you're placing your hands like this on your fingertips. Okay? Wide open and strong. And now we work a little bit back and place our legs hip wide, knees underneath your hips. Now from here, to make sure we are moving into our shoulders, we're not arching our lower back here. I know it feels a great stretch, but we don't need it here. We will keep our spine neutral. Do not arch in your lower back. And try to go as deep as you can in your shoulders. And hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and tuck. 1. Now you can take 2 blocks or find something that you can lie onto. It can be books or whatever. Whatever to make a little bit higher position. And now we will work a little bit with our thoracic spine, just because they support our shoulders as well. So we're lying here on our blocks. So you're placing the blocks or books or whatever you have on your hand. You're underneath your shoulder blades a little bit, okay? So you're not lying on, so they're not underneath your lower back, they're in your upper back. And place your hands underneath, behind your head. And we open up our elbows and we're going down. Closing in, round and up. Exhale here. Inhale, open. Exhale here. Inhale. Open your shoulders as wide as you can. Exhale here. Exhale. Great. Hands shoulder wide. Inhale. Exhale. Keep your hands shoulder wide and stretch here. Now you can extend your legs. Keep breathing. Great. Now bend your knees. Place your hands behind your head. Close your elbows and slowly coming up. Okay, you need to be aware of your upper body as well before we go to our balance positions. We will have quite a few of them today. Okay, the next pose is calling bridge pose. I like this pose because it helps you engage your quads, what we need in our balance positions, and engage your glutes. And of course, it builds up awareness as well if you try to do these exercises, these position correctly. So rely on your back, and you place your heels underneath your knees. Now keep your knees hip wide. To make sure you're not losing this position, you can place something between, like a block or whatever is on your hand. If you don't have anything, don't place anything, just make sure you're keeping your knees hip wide. Now from here, we will move up. Now when you're moving up, you should start to feel that your pushing starts with your toes to push up correctly. So your fingers are engaged as well. So when you're pushing yourself higher, not only your quads are working, but your glutes are really engaged here to keep this position correct. And we push up and hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So once we got this position, we can move forward, close in your hands. Place them shoulder wide. Heels underneath your knees, okay? Remember that hip wide position, or you can place here something between your knees as well. So your feet are not looking out, they're looking forward, okay? So from here, we start with our shoulders. Fingers wide, and you start pushing with your fingers to keep this position engaged. And we're moving up to a bridge. Now try to remember how much you were pushing before and do the same here. You're pushing up as much as you can, and the same thing happens with the shoulders from fingers. Whew. Push, and we hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Great. You can extend your legs, stretch your hands, your wrists. I like to do this in movement, just to keep them warm and mobile. Okay. Let's bend the right leg and stretch your left. This is a weird warm-up. I know you don't feel warm at all right now. Even if you're doing this for 100% until you're not sweating, you don't feel that you're really warm. But we are warming up today through our deep muscles. That's why it doesn't feel like we're really warm yet, because we're starting from the inside, okay? Sometimes with these kind of positions, I think it is important to feel really, really ready before we start to move forward. And before you do difficult exercises that needs a lot of muscle group engagement, you need to think about each muscle group you will need to engage. And that is what we're doing here in our warm-up. We need our deep muscles here. We need them, really, really do, for them to work together as one. So that's why these positions, working through these positions, you can just add them in your regular warm-up, and it will help you get ready, strengthen your upper and lower body as well before you move forward into balanced positions. So the next pose will be a downward dog pose. It's a difficult position. And we will need something that is similar to a block here just to make sure that we're doing this correct. And we start this position with like the same as we did before we started our plan. We go on our 4, okay? Open up your fingers, rotating out your biceps, keeping your upper body engaged. Start pushing from your knees to feel that your lower back is pushing away as well. And from here, you just lift up your both knees and you feel, wow, that's difficult. And we move our head between our hands here and down dog. So right now, if you feel like you cannot touch the floor with your heels, your task is to bend knees. It's not optional. If you cannot touch the floor with your knees, with your heels, sorry, you have to bend your knees. And why we need the block here? Because we want to squeeze the tummy closer to our legs, to open up in our shoulders first, and to create this triangle position. Okay, you can bend your knees here, and now your pelvis is engaged as well. Okay, this is dog position. Right now you have to think about your shoulders as well. Your biceps are still rotating out. Okay, so you don't have to push your shoulders away from ears. No, this is not that position. All you need to think about is fingers wide open. They're still working. Your biceps are rotating out. Engage your pelvis. And to engage your pelvis, for it to happen naturally, you need to start with your fingers and you need to create this triangle and push away from your legs. And from here, we will keep this block between our legs and our tummy and move to a position on our 4. Exhale, back. Bend your knees, straight hands. Exhale, back. So you're trying to keep the position in the movement. We're not going on a position, a table position, or on a 4. We're trying to engage, hold that block between. Great. Now from here, drop the block, move on to your 4. Child's pose. Rest a little bit, breathe. And let's stretch one side. We're going to the left side. The right thumb is looking up. You should feel great stretch in your side. It's like your butt is trying to pull away from your hands a little bit. Just stretch a bit more. To the center, and we move to the other side. Great. Oh, my left side was really tight. Okay, shake it out a little bit. And we will walk from our dog to our table position. Not walk, but try to replace without the block. And we will try to engage everything what is needed to be engaged. So let's start on our 4. Our shoulders rotating out. Slight tuck. Engagement. And you can start to lift up the one knee to make sure that you're pushing and engaging. And push, keep those biceps, and move into your dog. Exhale here. Do not arch in your lower back, okay? And bending your knees. Table position. Do not touch the floor, going back, dog. With bent knees if needed. You should feel that your calves are stretching here as well. And back to our table. Engagement. Pushing the fingers. Back on our 4. Keep breathing. Great. Let's check it out. Whew. Your wrists will need to work a lot today. So you can stretch if you feel like it. And this is with me trying to work as much as I can with shoulders to protect my wrists. And if you're not doing that, you will die after 3 positions, okay? So you need to try to engage. You can do less. You can do 1 repetition, okay? You do not need to follow me for 100%. Just the most important thing for you is that this class is for you. I want you to understand, to be aware, to learn to control. And that means you need to be patient. You need to be patient and you need to take care of your body. So, and taking care of your body is trying to understand why we are doing this position, how we need to do this position, and for how many times and when. And when is a really important thing. If you don't feel ready, if you feel weak, or you feel like you can hold yourself, you just do a simpler position, okay? This all workout is gradual. So everything what happens next and next will be a little bit harder, a little bit harder, a little bit harder, okay? So next thing, we will work with balance poses. But before we go to that, I have some strengthening drills for the whole body. And we will start with shoulder mobility exercises. That is really, really important for your handstands and actually for everything. So we take a block or something that is similar to block and put it between our knees and our tummy. Now, active flexibility, kinetic stretching mostly, are my favorite exercises, especially for shoulder mobility, to progress in your flexibility and strength in the same time. So now, what's the most important thing? You have to work in your end range. So you have to lift, your neck is neutral, okay? You have to lift up as high as you can, as straight as you can all the time to feel that it's burning in your shoulders. If you don't feel the burn, you're doing something wrong. So let's extend legs, keep the neck neutral, and try to lift up as high as we can. Open up as high as we can. Rotate. Try to connect as high as we can. Back shoulder line. Rotate as high as we can. And let's keep doing this. Keep breathing. Ooh, shoulders burning. Keep doing this if you can. And the last one, super high, the highest that you can. Great. You should feel that your shoulders are burning a lot. Okay, now here, next exercise, we will extend our hands and shoulder height, and one will rotate in and the other shoulder will rotate out. The one that's rotating in your shoulder joint. So your wrist is not working here, okay? Just the shoulder joint. The one that's rotating internally, you will move it behind, and the one that's rotating externally, you will move it behind your head as high as you can, as high as you can, okay? And each hand will move in different direction, okay? So this is for coordination a little bit as well. So squeeze the block between your legs and your tummy, extend the legs, one rotating in, the other one out, one behind the head, another one behind the back. Let's try to connect. Exhale, extend as high as you can. Rotate as high as you can. Keep breathing. Rotate as high as you can. Keep breathing. Ooh, breathe. This is super hard if you want to do this for 100%. Great. Now we'll stretch it out. Two of my favorite exercises for shoulders. If you have been to my classes, you probably know them already. If you haven't, I will introduce you. Let's lie on our tummy. Extend the hand shoulder wide, and the palm is facing up. Now we're moving to the side. Bend the leg to keep this transition a little bit more in control. And if you can, you connect the hands. If no, just put the other hand behind your back and stay there for a little bit of while. Try not to lose the line that you created with your hand. And if you want to go a deeper stretch, you can place the leg here and push even more. If your shoulders are flexible, you can try to do this, but this is a little bit extreme, okay? This will stretch a lot. And you do this only when your hands connect. Keep breathing. Great. Move on to your tummy. The other one facing up. Connect. Great. The second exercise is for a chest muscle. I really love this one. Place your hand in 90-degree position. Fingers wide open. Okay, here we open fingers as well. And the first thing we need to start is to push with this hand, with the other hand, our shoulder closer to the floor. And only when your shoulder touches the floor, you start to go onto your side and stretch here, okay? If your shoulder is not stretching to the touching the floor and it's up, this will be enough for you to stretch the chest. You should feel it, okay? Put the shoulder to the floor. Only when it's into the floor, we try to reach here with the opposite leg. Stretch and breathe, enjoy. And switch. The other one. Great. Oh, now your shoulders should feel ready. Let's move on to our core. One of the main and most important exercises for your handstands and actually for everything is the hollow body position. So we lie onto the floor, bend your legs. Inhale, full tummy like a balloon. It's a big balloon. No, exhale. Put your tailbone into the floor while you're exhaling. And try to inhale and feel between your hip bones. Put your hands here and try to feel it with a little exhale. You're engaging and it's tight, everything's strong. It's flat and engaged, okay? It's really important so your tummy is flat to work those deep muscles in your abs, in your core. If your tummy is like a balloon, you're not working deep. We need to work deep. So if you're not sure if your tummy is flat or it's like this, like a balloon, it means you filled it with air and now you're trying to work with a full tummy with your air. And when it's filled with air, you're not reaching your deep muscles, your core. It's really important if you really want your abs to be strong from the inside. This sounded really weird. from the inside. So exhale and engage. Now lift up your upper back. Your neck is neutral. Neck is neutral. Engage, but neutral. Okay? Extend your hands. Now lift up your legs. So if you cannot hold your tailbone into the floor, you just lift them up higher. It can be even here. Your hollow body can be here as long as your tailbone is into the floor. You can try from here and go lower down and just test how low can you go, how low can you hold. And now we extend the hands here. Woo. And let's hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe. Circle your ankles, your feet. Now, when you're resting, you can breathe in your tummy, okay? You can breathe in your diaphragm. Relax it a little bit. And now we're going to complicate things a little bit more. We will hold our whole body position and we will work with our hands. Now, here, we will take a block to make sure that our hands are shoulder wide. And we will try to go as low as we can. Okay, we worked a lot with our shoulder mobility. Well, not a lot, but we worked with it. And let's try to make those hands go as low as they can. Keep them straight. Now, exhale, tailbone into the floor. Lift up, legs, and 1, 2, breathe, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Whew. Now we have 2 more exercises that will be super hard for your core. Well, there'll be a lot of hard exercises, but they are challenging, and it's much more better to challenge yourself in these kind of exercises before you go into your handstand. You need to feel ready. So next thing will be that we will try to hold that hollow body position with a block just to make sure that our hands are shoulder wide, and we'll try to maintain while we are swinging that hollow body position. So we will not change the pose we created. We will just try to swing up and down while everything is engaged. Okay, very good exercise, super hard, but very good. Extend your hands. Exhale, tuck, lift up. Hello, buddy. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Breathe. Relax. We're gonna do 2 more like this. I'm sure your abs will hurt. And engage. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Breathe. Oh, we forgot to hold. Okay, now we will hold in the next one, in the last one. So you can always do less repetitions, okay? Just make sure you're doing them quality over quantity, okay? Do them better, maybe less, but try to do them better than just doing 10, for example, and you're doing them incorrectly. That will not give you much of a development in there, okay? So exhale, push, position, keep that angle, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Come up. Great. You can stretch a little bit here, one side to the other side while you're relaxing. Open up your legs in a straddle, but don't open them the wide as you can, just to make it comfortable for you to flex your feet and move in with your straight back here. Okay, and we will stretch here a little bit. And from there, you can start to open up your legs a little bit wider. Just a simple static stretch to rest a little bit in this position while still you're stretching out some of the groups we will need. Great. Let's close in. Next one for your core. This is a really great exercise. We will move to from a hollow body position to a side, back to a hollow body, to the other side, while still keeping everything engaged, everything in control, okay? You can always rest here. You can go to one side, rest here, engage your hollow body, and then move to the other side, okay? Exhale, engage, and try to move from your core less with your hands and your legs. Keep this side here. Now from here back and to the other side. Boom. And breathe. You can always rest if you need. Don't push from your hands. Work with your core. Let's do one more. Breathe in your tummy. Great. Coming up. Now, next one exercise is from a bridge in movement. So I like that we went through all the important positions before we started to do everything. So I will go through some of the information one more time. So hands are facing in, shoulder wide, okay? Fingers wide open, fingers engaged, start to push. Open shoulders that are pushing as well. Heels underneath your knees, hip wide, pushing up with all you got there, okay? Maximum effort. Now our butt is moving through. Weight is on our heels. Shoulders keep pushing. Here, engage your quads so you feel the stretch in your calves and in your hams. And boom. Moving up. Exhale. Push, push, push. Shoulders open, butt up. And moving through. Engage. Two more. Push, push, push. I feel like I'm giving birth to someone. Keep pushing. Keep breathing. Glutes engage, quads engage. Last one. Moving through. Up and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch your wrists. Great. Now let's reach our legs from the inside, our feet, or if you cannot touch your feet with the back, with the straight back, you can always reach here. Even between your knees is quite okay. And we stretch here. Through one armpit, stretch, and to the other. Great. Cool. Let's move to our next exercise. Next exercise is pike. So just to show you variation into the last exercise, if you want this to get a little bit harder or a little bit more interesting, you can always take a sliding object, which is my knee pads in this case, and you can always advance some of the exercises to make them easier or harder. In this case, this will be harder than the previous one. So you will move not from a bridge position, but from the reverse plank position. Okay, so first, before you start this position, you can just hold up in your reverse plank and understand how well you are doing this. Are you even capable to do this exercise in movement? If no, you can just hold your reverse plank. That's it. Now your hands are facing in, shoulder wide, fingers open, fingers start pushing, shoulders engaged, and we're lifting up our butt here. Push up as high as you can, okay? Now, if you want to do this in movement, your butt will slide through here, and we can slide back and up. Exhale here, sliding through. Exhale, sliding through. Exhale, last one, sliding through. Exhale, and rest. Okay, this is a great exercise as well, which you can use if you're able to hold your reverse plank. And when we're getting to here, to this position, it's close to our pike with the head up, okay? So we can take blocks and or something that's similar to blocks, and we'll try to work, because pike consists not only with your abs and with the strong shoulders, you need to be able to engage your quads. And to make it all work together, this is a great exercise actually. This is a great active stretching exercise for your hamstrings while you're working, learning to engage your quads, okay, the upper legs. So here, the closer blocks are to your knees, the harder is going to be. The closer the blocks are to your butt, the easier this exercise is going to be. So you start easier and then you can move harder. This is my suggestion. So now your legs are hip wide. You can point your toes and just lift them up like this. Knees are straight. And from here, you need to straighten your back, engage, and your butt comes up. And your heels do not touch the floor. And 5, okay, let's hold. 3, 2, 1, going down. Relax, extend. And 3, 2, 1, going down. Relax. If you're super advanced, you can hold and just come up. 3, 2, 1, down. 3, 2, 1, down. If it's too easy, you just put them further away. 3, 2, 1, down. 3, 2, 1, down. Let's hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is a great exercise to make your quads burn while you're trying to work on your balance, and also stretch your hamstrings actively. So now we're going to stretch a little bit our quads. Place your hands like this. And before you start to push yourself up, you have to make sure you're kind of tucked in. And you're not pushing yourself up through your upper back, you're pushing yourself up through your lower back. And at that point, you should start to feel the stretch in your quads. Nice stretch. And now we open up one knee, the other one stays on the floor. And we switch the other one. Great. Let's stretch here. Bend the left leg and stretch to your left. Bend the right and stretch to your right. Okay. Now, let's try to move forward with this exercise. Now, something to place your hands on, it would be really, really great because it will be a little bit easier for you. Blocks or anything that is similar to blocks and the sliding things that are my knee pads in this case. Now, keep your blocks shoulder wide, your elbows closed. And from there, you lift your butt up and you're moving into your reverse plank, just a little bit higher. And we will do this exercise with sliding and lifting up. Moving down, sliding back. Sliding, trying to lift up, moving down, and reverse plank. So if you're higher in this exercise, it will be easier for you. Of course, you can try to do this without the blocks. And there's actually this not important if you can or cannot lift your legs from the floor. The main thing here is that you're trying to do it, okay? We can try to lift one by one. Even if you don't have the blocks, you can still do this exercise. Now from the floor, you move here, your butt goes through. You can lift up one, two, or try to lift up both. And going back to reverse plank, and one, two, back to plank, and one, two, back to plank. Okay? This is a great exercise to build up your strength in your whole body, in your shoulders, in your abs, in your quads, in your glutes. So the next exercise, which is again the reverse plank kind of exercise for your glutes, because we need our glutes to be strong. We can take blocks and we can place our heels onto the blocks. Now the first level is you're trying just to lift up your butt here, okay? And do this while keeping your legs straight and engaging your glutes. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and hold, of course. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And of course, the next level. If your wrists start to hurt, you can always put your hands like this, but on these two first bones. Yes, place your hand on these two bones. So you're not placing your hand on these bones because your wrist will not be straight. So this is painful as well, but if you want your wrist to rest, you can try to do like this, lifting up, and you can try to lift up by one leg, or you can just hold, whatever works for you. Okay, I will just hold, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Now the next one and the last one from the strength block here. Okay, we had the awareness block where we try to understand the positions, the main positions. This is the strength block where you build up your strength by using all the muscle groups we will need before we go into our handstand. And in our strength block will be the second part with the balance poses. The last exercise here is the hollow plank push-up. It is super hard. And if you cannot do the push-up, you will just try to hold the hollow plank. So it means that your hands are wide and far away, while still you're engaging your shoulders when you're pushing from the floor by the help of your hands. So you're pushing greatly, still keeping everything engaged and tucked. Okay, and you can keep your legs a little bit wider than hip wide here in this position as well, because your hands are wider, so your feet should go wider as well. So you place the hands, place the legs, and just try to slide as far as you can and try to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the hollow plank. Okay, hollow plank push-up would be when you're starting from here, from this position, and you will try to come up and down. Okay, so if you cannot do this, you just hold the hollow plank for 3 rounds, 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, 5 to 10 seconds is quite enough. Okay, you don't need to hold longer. You need to engage, so 5 seconds is always good as well. If you can keep everything engaged for 5 seconds, you're already a winner. Okay, if you can do the push-up, you can always take the hands a little bit closer together to keep your push-up, but just don't do this like this. Okay, you have to try your whole body to work together. So I'm not arching my lower back nowhere. I'm trying to push from it, but keeping it engaged. Okay, if you can do this, you do 3 to 4 times your push-up, and on the last one you hold for as long as you can. Let's try this. And we go 1, down, 2, down, 3, down, the last one we hold, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Now let's move on to our balance positions. I will start with the easiest ones. Okay, the first one is T-pose. And you can do the T-pose against the wall or against the pole, whatever is more comfortable for you. I will start, and your hand and the first variation will go to the pole or the wall. And the second variation of T-pose, your leg will go to the wall or to pole. So how we go into our T-pose, we stand right in front of our pole, in my case, and we close in this part of our body. Slight posterior tilt maybe, but your back should be straight. Okay, now first my left leg will hold the balance, so I'm going to lift up the right. Okay, the pole, the wall should be like you can touch it with the fingertips. That far away you should be. So from here, I slightly bend my left leg in the knee. See, slight bend. And I will engage, keep this engagement, keep my hip closed, and I will move down here into my T pose. Okay, hip is closed and one hand is into the wall. And when I feel I'm low enough to keep a parallel line, I try to extend my leg in a parallel line as well. So my leg is creating a same line, parallel line. My hip is closed, my glutes engaged, knees slightly bent, and I'm trying to keep that line for as long as I can. If you're doing everything correctly, you should feel here, everything is burning to keep that position. You're pushing away from your feet, your toes are working, your glutes are engaged to keep that position secure and stable. Okay, that's why we need our glutes. We can switch the legs if you were holding. So somewhere like here, closing position, bent knee, moving into my T-pose. Push the hand into the wall, close in, and hold hold, hold. Great. This is the first balance pose. And the task here is not only be aware of your T, okay, is it correct or is it not? Where are your hips? Is the hip opening up or not? If it's opening up, you have to be able to close it, okay? This is awareness. You have to be able to extend the arm and the legs in a straight line. You have to be able to balance. You have to be able to hold and to be aware of your knee here as well, okay? It has to be stable. So let's try the other variation where our foot will go into the wall. To do that, we have to measure how long are our feet, okay? I measured, they're somewhere here. You can put something there to measure your feet. And you put one foot, the same position applies, back is straight, knees slightly bent, and you're moving into a T pose. If you're next to a wall, it will be a little bit easier for you to touch and reach. I'm trying to touch the pole and reach the pole with my leg, to be aware of my foot, to be aware of my hip and my pelvis. And you can put the legs to your side or you can extend them to the front. Okay? So, and as well, this position you should be able to hold 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, so let's try. Bend, move into your T, reach, closing in, legs to the side, leg extended or moving up, and breathe here. Okay, so this is the first balance position, what I suggest you to work with. And it's not dangerous or anything, it's difficult. Because you control your balance in your core. Feet and fingers are the thing that helps you do it, but the core is the one that controls it. Okay? So you need to be able to create that push. That push creates from feet, toes, as well from fingers. If you were standing in this balanced position, you should feel that your kind of fingers are moving backward and forward to keep that balance. And the same will happen in handstand. You will shift way forward and back all the time to maintain control, to maintain that balance. If you're working with your hips in your with your fingers, sorry, in your handstand, you will see that they are shaking and moving backward and forward to control your line all the time. So you're not standing still. It looks a still position, but you're working back, forward, to control, to control, to control. And the same like you're doing in this position, you're not standing still. You're moving, you're controlling, you're engaging, you're trying to be aware and to control. And as you can see, the foot is moving, the fingers are moving in the leg, and the same will happen to your hands. Okay, that's why I started with this one, for you to understand. Next balance position will be crow or the crane pose. This is the position where we learn to balance, work with our core, and strengthen our wrists. Okay, I will show the crane pose. If you're not able to do the crane, you can do the crow. Okay, so I will place the here. You can always take blocks for support if needed, just not to fall. Okay, I will show you why do you need them. Place your hands shoulder wide, fingers wide open, and you move your legs into your armpit and keep them slightly bent. Now you start to work with your fingers, pulsing them, and you will move weight forward, lift up one leg and lift up other leg. And the blocks are there just in case you lose control and fall forward. So you can fall on your face, okay, on the blocks. not on the floor. So the crane pose is very good if you can push your heels already to your butt. It means that you're mastering your crane really well, that you're not only lifting up, but you're already able to push your heels closer to your butt. That's the crane. The crow pose is when you're opening up your knees like this because you're not able to put them in your armpit. If you're not able to put your legs into your armpits, you just do it like this. Hands are slightly bent, you just put them onto your hands wherever you can to try to balance, okay? You don't have to be able to lift up your feet from the floor. You have to be able to try to do that, to control and to understand what is where and what you need to engage to make that happen, okay? So when you move into your crow or crane, you try to hold it for as long as possible, okay? And try to see and look what your hands are doing in this position, okay? I'll try to do it closer here so you can look at my hands and see that they are not static. They are working all the time to maintain control by pushing back and forth, back and forth. Okay, fingers are working. So the next position, what I chose you today is the headstand. Headstand is really close balance position. I'm doing this gradually. So when you start with a T pose, okay, that's a difficult pose for me sometimes. Today is not my balance day. That's where my T pose sucked. But T pose, everyone can try to do T pose, as well as crow or crane pose with blocks. Everyone can start to practice this. Okay, this is how you build up strength, awareness, and balance. Trying to understand what, like, in a slightly head moving down position. Okay. But headstand, that's a position. If you have trouble with your neck or some trouble with your upper back, you should not be doing headstand, okay? Any kind. So I will show you two variations of headstands that I usually practice or give my students. And first of all will be kind of the beginnery kind of one, which feels safe, but when you're already build up this safer, but when you already build up the strength, this first variation actually is a little bit more difficult than the second one. But for your psychological and mental health, I will start with this one. So you will connect your hands like this, okay? And you will place your elbows shoulder wide. That's very important. Your elbows not open, elbows are shoulder wide. You can do this next to a wall, okay? If that feels more safer for you, you can put something underneath your head, a blanket or something, okay? So now I'm doing the same what I just did, shoulder wide, and I'm going to place my head into my hands. Now, what you have to understand, you're not balancing on your head behind or in your front head. You're trying to find that balance point in the middle of your head because you need your neck to be straight. That's super important. So you're not arching or over tucking. Your neck should be in one line like your back. And to do that, you need to find the right point where to put the weight on your head, in the middle of your head. Okay, connect hands, go to that middle, shoulder wide, walk, and now you try to shift weight back. And if you're starting to feel that you're kind of falling, you can start to reach to lift up one foot from the floor like this. Pooh, go back, rest. And shifting weight back, lifting up. You can do this. You can go up, or you can extend both. And here in this position, I really like headstands because they really make you think about your core, about your balance. So if you used to arching your lower back, it will be really great. It will be difficulty for you to be able to do these positions, but you just have to think about put it back. Back is straight. Do not arch in your lower back. The next variation for headstand, it will be a little bit difficult. I think it's called toe point or something like this. So you keep your hands shoulder wide. Everything what we learn in this class applies here. Fingers, shoulders, elbows closed, neutral, tuck, engagement, all the way through. Find that right point here. Now, here it's easier because you can put one knee and the other knee on your hands, and already you're learning to balance on your head. Now from there, you can start to extend both or leg by leg. And if you're starting to extend one leg, you will start to feel that you're kind of starting to shifting weight back and forth, unwillingly even, okay, between your hands, because your fingers are working to hold that balance. Your triceps here is learning to hold that position, and your biceps is helping as well. So you need to keep your hands strong. In this case, your hands are strong. Less shoulders, more hands, more fingers, okay, and balance. So, great. Now we worked through the main positions, and now we need to go through handstand drills, what I usually give my students. So the first one is the pike or elevated pike with the head down. Elevated pike is when you put your legs onto blocks. The usual kind is when you don't put your legs on anything, okay? You start with the usual kind because it's easier. So now here the starting position is the same as the down dog position. Now from here you go into your on all four, engage, lift up, push, go to your dog, walk as close as you can, and you move, shift weight, going back, shift weight, going back, fingers open, pushing away from the floor, learning to control and to engage, learning to control and to engage, okay? And here, where to look, you're kind of creating a triangle with your hands up, and you have to look at the top point of your triangle, okay? So you're not looking like this up, you're looking through your eyes slightly up in the top point of your triangle, what you're creating with your hands, okay? So if you have trouble with your biceps external, with the rotation here, you can place the hands a little bit out, a little bit, okay? To maintain your shoulder position, that's really important. So if you're done with this and you understand how much do you really actually need to work with your fingers, because when you're shifting weight forward, when we're standing on our feet, as you see, to keep that balance, finger toes are engaging. So I'm falling forward and my toes are engaging to keep that balance, to not fall. And the same is happening with fingers. Everything is connected. So the same you're doing with your fingers, magic fingers, okay? Pushing, engaging, pushing, engaging. An elevated plank is the same kind. Your butt moves over your shoulders, okay? To feel what you will feel approximately when you're going to go into your handstand. So rotate, engage, legs onto something, And you're shifting, engage, push, look in your triangle, going back. Shifting, engage, push, going back. Okay, this is a really great exercise to build up awareness, what you will need so you not get into a shock when you move into your handstand position and you fall into your shoulders, or the worst that usually happens, you cannot hold into your shoulders and you start to bend your arms. And if you bend your arm, you will probably fall on your face or you can dislocate your shoulders. So that's why it's so important, this first part of this class is the most important part of everything. So that's why in the last 5 minutes, I'm doing just these exercises that actually you do when you feel strong in your upper body. When you feel ready, then you start to do these exercises, okay? So the next one is the walk to a wall. I don't have a wall. Oh, wait, I do have a wall. So walk to a wall is a great exercise to build up strength. And also, it's a super hard exercise. I will just move my camera. Don't get scared. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, that's me from down low. And we are back. So here's my wall today. Nice. So the wall walk, you start from here, from kind of a plank position, and engage everything what we learned in this class, okay? Work with your fingers, your biceps, your core, and now you start to walk up to a wall as close as you can, okay? And you're trying to engage and control. And if you want to go down, you walk away or you jump through the side like this. I would have jumped, but I don't have a lot of place here. So that's why I walked back. You can walk back and walk to a wall. So the main thing when you walk to a wall is to learn to hold that line. So you have to make one line with your hand, shoulder, hips, and heels. And the wall walk is scary as fuck at first, okay? We just have to start to walk and understand you will not fall. You will not walk closer if you feel in danger, okay? You walk as close as you can at first and then try to progress in that move. And hold for as long as you can to build up that endurance, okay? So let's try this one more time. So you're walking as close as you can and maintaining that position. Tuck in and hold. Tuck in and hold. Push from your shoulders to hold that position. So, and the next one is the kick up to the wall. And at the kick up, you will start to do this thing with your fingers and you will start to do the controlling. But there's one slight exercise that I would like to give you before the kick up, and that will be the last one. This exercise and the kick up to understand how do we balance. So you measure your hand and you, okay? So you stand in your hand length away from the wall, and you place your hands between, in the middle, somewhere in the middle of here, okay? And From here, you will jump up in your kick up, but you will not try to hold a straight position in this one. But watch me, you will bend your legs. Now engage, biceps looking out, tuck in, and kick up. From here, bend your legs in 90-degree position. Push a little bit from the wall to engage your core and start to create your line. Look to the front slightly. Remember the triangle. And then you extend one leg, and if you can, you try to extend the other leg. And always come down one leg at the time. So this is a great exercise that is really close to your handstand. If you start with the wall walk, build up your strength and endurance, and then move into this exercise, you will feel really close to your handstands. And then you will understand, okay, I have trouble with my balancing. The trouble is with balancing because intermuscular coordination is not working yet enough. So you're not there yet, but you will be there. So you just need to practice, okay? Build up the strength with the exercises that I provided you today. Use some of the balance position exercises regularly to try to develop that balance awareness, work through the basic positions, always work through them. I'm still doing these positions for years and still they are hard for me because every time I kind of feel I'm engaging more, I'm aware more. So the more you do them, the better you're going to be at them, okay? So, and the kick up has the same thing. I will do this exercise one more time, this one, okay? So I measure, I stand, and I place my hands in the middle between my legs and the wall. Fingers wide open. Sorry. Lost my position. And when you do the kick up, make sure you're not doing like this. Your task is that your hips go first. So you need to swing straight leg, jump from the other leg. It will help you. If you swing a straight leg, it will help you to work with your hips more so you can reach the wall, not to hit the wall, okay? Now you bend, you tuck, engage, and try to extend one leg afterwards if you can, the other leg, okay? So as I said, today is not my balance day, but I'm usually a little bit better than this. A little bit. I'm not a professional handstand person, but I'm struggling with them for years, and this is the way that I've been working on because I had a problem with my shoulder mobility. I had this position in my shoulders when I started doing handstands. I had opened them up to keep this position. For me, this is already really, really much. So I really suggest you to do shoulder opening exercises, shoulder mobility exercises that I just provided. And the last exercise is the kick up. So when you kick up to the wall, it's really important. You can be close to the wall, you can be far from the wall, whatever is better. Closer to the wall you are, probably you're going to feel safer. So you open your fingers wide and your biceps are rotating out. Engage your pelvis and you do the same thing. One leg is going up and you jump from the other leg. Now remember, your hips go up first. So this leg goes straight. So you do not jump like this, okay? You swing as much as you need. You can do the scissor kick and come down. Or you just touch the wall, okay? Now from here, you're engaging with your straight legs. One leg moves in front, and the other one tries to follow. You kick up, engage, look where you need to look, And try to let go the wall with both straight legs. Now, when you're doing these exercises, probably your wrists will feel super terrible afterwards. So make sure you do recovery exercises, that you stretch them out after you completed your handstand exercises. So I hope this workout helped you to progress in your handstands. So this is always a matter of time, and really important thing when you start to progress in your handstands and you want to do your handstands right away, you need to be able to focus on the form, not focus on the holding. So if you are able to focus on the form in your handstands, you're ready to practice your handstands like with these kind of exercises. If you're focusing not to fall down, not to bend your arms, not to hit your face to the floor, that probably means your upper body and your shoulders or your wrists even, or your core is not ready. It's not there yet, but it will be. And I provided a lot of exercises today that may help you. So thank you guys for taking this class. I really hope you enjoyed it. I provide feedback, so you can send me your videos, you can ask me questions, and you can also suggest the next month's online class bundle. If you have any specific type of classes you would like for me to teach, you can feel free to write me. So hopefully you enjoy the class and have a wonderful day.